Where's that?
29 is the kicker for the Spartans.
A very pleasant good evening to you as we welcome you to the Arizona Cactus Football League on the CMX Network. We are live from Bellbank Park in Mesa, Arizona at the Legacy Sports Complex for the AZCFL Game of the Week. Good evening, everyone. My name is Kevin Derryberry alongside my broadcast partner, Mr. Cody Cameron. And Cody, welcome in. It is the battle of the undefeateds. Two 6-0 teams going to rock the house tonight. Fantastic crowd on hand. Gorgeous Arizona setting as the sky is illumined with magenta and the sun is set behind us, and we are ready to play a little tackle football in the Semi-Pro League.
Two 6-0 teams here, Kevin. Beautiful skyline in the great state of Arizona, and this place is rocking. I'm excited for this one.
We are ready to go. The Canes are clad in all white with their white helmets, and, of course, the Arizona Spartans are set up in all black with their black helmets trimmed in gold. For the Canes on the return, very little return there for Phil Ross, a one-time Outlaw product, bumps into the special teamer, and that was DeRoland Reeves, a linebacker, down there to touch up Phil Ross. So for the Canes, a record of 6-0, and they like to run the football. They like that spread offense. Let's turn it down to Lucas. Lucas?
We heavyweights between the Arizona Spartans and Arizona Canes. Both two good head coaches tonight. Coach Aaron Wilkins and Coach Shake will be going on tonight. New playbooks should be on the rise for both, as both teams have been looking to keep some things off film for one another. The Canes and Spartans might be showing some new ones tonight. Let's turn it back to the booth. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Lucas. First pass of the game from Arturo Macias, intended for Phil Ross, who was incomplete. Canes work from their own 18-yard line. They run it for the first time here tonight, running on the left side, and they run into an absolute stone wall in the defense. For Sparty up there to lead the charge, stepping right through that offensive line was the big fella, Christian Upshaw. He gets the unassisted tackle, Cody, and that's how we start the second play of this game.
And that's going to be a name we're going to hear all night long here, Kevin. And really, both of these fronts defensively, they are monsters. They attack, they are physical at the line of scrimmage, and they wreak havoc in the backfield. Christian Upshaw is a phenomenal talent for the undefeated Arizona Spartans.
No question about it. All right, it's Macias working out of the gun. Snap is back, surveys the field, throws a deep ball down the near sideline. That ball is going to be incomplete. Intended target is Arlonzo Simpson, but even then I question whether or not that's accurate. Simpson has been wearing number 18. That target right there was number 12. And on the defensive end of things, throwing right into single coverage on the near side, Macias took a chance.
Yeah, that's twice now on that series. They went to the left side there. The first time trying to go to Ross in a one-on-one situation. Good job for the Spartans there, especially on 3rd and long, not over-pursuing, getting the safety to rover over the top in the double team, creating the incomplete pass and forcing the first 3 and out of this football game.
Luke Trudy in punt duty. He's back at his own 5. Steps into a kick, a right-footed kick. It's end over end to the far side. And taking that football is number 1. That's a playmaker. That's Billy Sewing Jr. And he finds a little bit of daylight towards the center of the field. And that is it. Special teams tackle made there by the Canes. That is Perry Morrow on the special teams play. And so for the Sparty defense, they stand tall in the opening drive, and the Canes are forced to punt, Cody.
Yeah, and watching the commissioner show on Thursday here, Kevin, we had a lot of low scores. Obviously, two very high-profile defensive teams. There's a reason why these two teams are undefeated, but you look at field position. That is going to play a role in a game like this. And for the Spartans, hey, starting your first possession inside Canes territory already on the 45, looking upside on the first drive.
I saw Scotty Hutchinson taking some snaps early. He'll split wide, and he'll line up in the slot. And for the Spartans, they'll go with their quarterback, Jake Mortensen, a Perry High graduate. I tell you what, he has just caught this league by storm, and he is just tearing things up. And a 4 wide receiver package, 2 to the left, 2 to the right, in motion for the Spartans was their tailback. That is Ross Robertson. Long count at the line of scrimmage as Sewing goes in motion. Sewing gets it at the 50, looks to blaze up the sideline, turns it up the field, takes it across the 40-yard line, and inside the 38, well, they'll mark it down. But an easy pitch, easy catch right there. But they get the ball in the hands of their leading receiver, and that is number 1, Billy Sewing Jr.
A good use of motion there in the empty set for the Spartans. Motion to trips, and then they fly motion again into quads. A quick and easy screen, especially just getting the inside backers for the Canes to pursue that way, just trying to get some looks, and a quick 4 yards for the Spartans on first down.
18th catch of the season for Sewing Jr. They line up with 3 down linemen with 3 linebackers there as well. Stepping out of the blitz, it's a pump fake. Morton wants to run it. It's Robertson with hole to the 40, 35, and he'll fall forward towards the 30-yard line. Putting his shoulder into play was T.J. Downs. And Cody, I know you like to work the circuit just a little bit, and we want to welcome in our global viewing audience here watching the AZCFL Game of the Week. Kevin Derryberry alongside Cody Cameron, and here we go. We are on the march, and for the Spartans, again, 6-0. The Canes 6-0, and on the march here, first drive are the Arizona Spartans working left to right. Snap back, empty set, fires left. The receiver fell down, and he's unable to haul that one in, and that is a playmaker, Deandre Dickerson. This guy's a two-way stud, Cody. He already has a pick 6 to his credit defensively, but he's also a playmaker on the offensive side of things. He leads the team in yardage with 339 yards, and he's got 5 tutties to go with that.
And Dre was a monster 2 weeks ago when we were up here broadcasting. He made play after play after play. And you just talked about our global audience. They are in the comments section right now saying he is a guaranteed lock for a touchdown in this football game. I think he has the ability to do it.
And then speaking of Deandre Dickerson, no question about it, this guy is a player. That's Deandre Dickerson Jr., 2nd and 10 from the 30-yard line. Looking left and firing left is Morton. He's got his man again. That is Dickerson, and he's close to the line again. Still on his feet, continues to motor up the field, and he finally gets dropped down after a trio of tacklers there. The ball came loose. Picking up the football was Andrew Jones, but you had some big fellas in there trying to slow down Deandre Dickerson, and one of those guys trying to slow him down was double 4s, and that is Dominic Brooks. He's a true playmaker out of that linebacker spot.
He is, and right now we have a player down for the Canes, and it looked like some friendly fire as we hit the quick hitch on the trip set and the empty set there for the Spartans. Looked like head-to-head helmet contact with both Canes defensive players there, and never like to see that any time in the game, especially this early when one of the Canes starters goes down. And but I like what the Spartans are doing offensively here, Kevin. They've gone empty couple plays now early in this drive, spreading out the Canes defense and taking what the defense again him, and just a good contact and good accuracy by Morton.
Cody, it looks like the injured player is Darnell Marshall, and for Marshall, he plays a little defensive back. Also carries the rock quite a bit for James Fisher's football team. It's a veteran-laden squad for the Canes. Again, 6-0. We can't stress that enough here. The top 2 powers in this league, they've beaten everybody up except one another, and here they get this chance on Week 7. Gives us an opportunity to introduce our officiating crew. Our referee this evening is Anthony Perez. Our umpire tonight is Hapa Federico. The line judge is Justin Colin. Our head linesman is Tino Silva. The side judge is Jeff Vance. Our field judge tonight will be Mark Yower. The back judge is Alex Herrera. And our center judge tonight is Barrett Furman. One thing that's great about Matt Archer's AZCFL, Cody, is the fact that he's got the best officials in the business working these games, and that's a tribute to these players, and that's just a fantastic attribute for the AZCFL.
And not just that, but what about the atmosphere? I mean, this is the first season at Bell Bank Park. I mean, it was just built, and these guys are able to play a lot of the home games here on this beautiful stadium field. Seats 5,000, skyline over the Superstition Mountains, tremendous grass, and it's been an awesome season here so far.
So Marshall's going to go off the field with a little bit of help, unfortunately for him, and he's got a definite hitch in his giddy-up. So we'll see what develops there out of Marshall. Deandre Dickerson lines up to the far side, working on 339 yards. Actually, after that last 9-yard play, he now has 348 yards for those of you in higher math. The Canes ready to go. They run it to Ross, and Ross is going to be tackled in the backfield. Ross Robertson, R-squared, gets dropped for a loss in the backfield, and it looked like the big fella, one of those guys there was Paramore Tapa, but also in the mix. I believe it was one of the 50s. I thought I saw 59 down there, Cody. It's one of those deals where we will work through the numbers and some of those changes. And we've talked about it. A lot of these guys, they'll lay asphalt during the week. They're working on roofs. We even mentioned, you mentioned a couple times, a lot of these guys are in the car industry working for Hertz Rental Car or Enterprise or whatnot. Great first job for some of these guys. A loss of 4 on that last sequence. Snap is back for Morton, and we get a halt in the action as there's a penalty marker down. Let's go with double fives on that last play with your guy. It's Mikkel Mayer along with Paramore, Tapa, and how about the nickname for a defensive lineman as Peanut? You know the dude's got to be just a gargantuan individual.
I was going to say right there, Kevin, that is my midseason name of the year in this league. Paramore Peanut Tapa, making the play in the backfield for a 4-yard loss. I was also going to say, Kevin, I think we just broke a record. I think we shed off about 7 minutes in the first quarter until we had our first penalty. I mean, heck, that first week one game we did, there might have been 37 penalties in that football game. So, hey, we're a fast-paced league now, man.
No doubt about it. One thing I wanted to mention, I think you kind of addressed it initially, but the playing conditions here are, they are immaculate. I was walking on the turf. It's freshly cut. It's a low turf, and it's pristine grass. A little bit of wear towards the center of the field, but on the outskirts, it's just perfect. It's absolutely the kind of lawn that you dream of having in your backyard. It is a picture-perfect situation. All right, 8:49 to go, opening quarter. Working left to right are the Arizona Spartans. Morton with a back to his right. That's Ross Robertson. And now we get a little movement up front, and now Morton wants to change the play. He's wearing number 12, the one-time Perry Puma, played for Preston Jones. 2 wide receivers to the left, 2 to the right. Single coverage in the slot, single coverage to the near side. Long count. Morton back to throw. Looks left. Steps through the middle of the field, breaks a tackle, wants to run it, and he's going to finally get a shot taken around the 25-yard line. Lowering the boom was Andrew Jones. And that time for Mortensen, Cody, I don't think he was indecisive. I just think the secondary started to clamp down on the coverage. They took Deandre Dickerson out of the play, forced him out of the end zone, and pushed him across the boundary, and then it was the defense that came in there, and then the nice tackle there by A.J., who put a hurt on the quarterback right there.
Yeah, I like to call that a coverage sack. Great job by the Canes secondary, and that's what makes it so hard to score on both of these teams is they clamp up inside the 25, inside the red zone in the 20. They do it consistently, and they just clamp in, lock on a receiver. Now, here's an interesting set. I love this set. The Spartans utilized this 2 weeks ago. The trips bunch set here, a lot of combo routes up top.
Trips far side, single wide receiver to the near side. That is LaRue Burley. Morton back to throw. Comes back to the right side. Throws over the middle field. He wanted Burley. There's nobody home this time. And providing the coverage for the Arizona Canes was T.J. Downs. And going back to that last analysis on the previous play, I love what you said. I call that a coverage sack. And after all that vernacular and going through that whole process, yes, that was indeed a coverage sack. That's the simplest way to put that. But at the same token, the secondary did a nice job to defend that pass play.
Yeah, and once again, in that trips bunch set on that 3rd and long, Canes secondary once again coming through. They're banjoing bracket, that trip side there in that bunch. The first guy absolutely rerouting the middle, disrupting all 3 routes. And here's our first 4th down here. 4th and 14 field goals, pretty much non-existent outside the 20 in this league. Kevin, let's see if the Spartans can capitalize.
Burley lines up to the near side. Dickerson Jr. bunched up in that trip set to the left. Snap back. Here comes the pressure. Mortensen steps through the pocket at the 30-yard line. Now he retreats for a second, evades some rush, throws on the run. The ball is in and out of the hands of Sewing Jr. right around the 13-yard line. And let's see what the penalty is all about. But there are whistles all over the field. There's a flag in the secondary. Now they move it up forward. So the flag was dropped around the 12, and now they flipped it back towards we'll call it the 15-yard line. But Cody, more pressure up front. Mortensen just not able to set his feet and fire there. He's been scrambling here early.
Yeah, it looks like we're going to have a hold, too, in the Canes secondary. And I just gave him credit. This is Perry Morrow. I thought he's doing a really good job of rerouting up top there on the trips bunch on the first receiver. Maybe they got him a little bit too physical, but it looks like they might waive off this penalty here. And I do believe they just waved it off. So that is going to be a change of possession, and Canes defense come through on the big 4th down stop.
Both teams get turnover on downs in this case, well, of course, the Canes had to punt it away, but they're going to get the football back deep in their own territory. They're going to start this drive from their own 24-yard line. Let's see what they can't do with Arturo Macias and some of their playmakers. Of course, you've got our guy down there out at the University of Texas, Kenneth Mitchell, one of your dudes. Another playmaker down there.
There's a bunch of guys who are absolute studs, and I have so much credit, respect for all these players here, Kevin, because we talked about, all these players that work 40, 50, 60. Heck, some of these guys who work in the trade, 65-hour work weeks, they don't practice at all, and then they come out here on Saturday and just put their bodies on the line and ball out, man. I love it.
Passion and more passion. Kevin Godot lines up to the outside. Dickerson Jr. will pride coverage for him. They run it on a student body left, running to the near side. Ball comes out late. That ball should be on the ground, but a nice run and carving off about 6 yards that time. Right in front of a block from Phil Ross, but a good tote nonetheless for the Arizona Canes. The head coach for the Spartans is Dietrich Howard, offensive coordinator Aaron Wilkins, and for James Fisher running the club for the Arizona Canes, a long-time offensive line coach, more than a decade at Millennium. And Cody, it's kind of interesting how we do a lot of coverage of high school football, but to see that integration for the guys that aren't playing at a Division I program or not continuing their careers, they have a chance to continue their passion to play the game of football here at this level.
Hey, nothing wrong with trying to relive the glory days, Kevin, man. Let's rock.
Macias back to throw. He's flushed out of the pocket. He's pressured. He throws on the run. He throws a dart to the far side of the field, and the ball's incomplete. Nice pressure there applied by the Spartans. One of those guys putting the heat on was Jake Lee. Jake Lee has been a prominent player in this football league for a couple of seasons now, and the intended target was, once again, it's 12, and for the like of me, I think it's Alonzo Simpson. But at one point, Cody, Simpson was wearing 18 when he caught his last 37-yard touchdown reception. So we'll continue to work on that. Zach Elvira, one of our guys and big-time supporters here in the media aspect of things, he's now on the football field. He played earlier. His team won 14-7, so the Running Rebs have picked things up, and they're starting to play a little better football. Screen to the behind the line of scrimmage, and for just a moment, I thought that might be a live ball. Up there on the hunt for the Spartans was Deuces, Devontae Allen. He's their leading tackler. And for this Spartan defense, perhaps they lead this football team. Of course, they've got great numbers with Jake Morton and that trio of wide receivers. A talented offense, but maybe it's their defense is the strength of this football team.
It
Cody.
really is their defense, Kevin. And what sets both of these teams apart is we've broadcasted about 3 or 4 games now in this season, and there's a lot of good dual threat quarterbacks in this league. When they escape the pocket, they can make things happen, not only with their arm, keeping the play alive, but also with their legs. These defensives, they have inside backers who absolutely fly sideline to sideline for the football, Kevin. As we have a huge play here on this punt, and like I always say, special teams is a huge factor in these games.
No doubt about it. We know that some teams put more emphasis on that than others, but it is a game changer. It's a game breaker, and truly unable to get that punt off. So we just talked about the Spartans defense. Now it's the Spartans special teams getting back there. It was a low snap. It was a snap that Trudy really couldn't handle. Once he had a chance to look up and he realized, okay, I've got to eat this, and he did just that. So now it's Jake Mortensen and company beginning their second drive of this game in a scoreless ball game on the 18-yard line, working left to right. 1st and 10 for Jake Mortensen. Deandre Dickerson breaks the huddle to the far side. Billy Sewing Jr. in the slot to left, right next to a man we haven't called today, and that's Terrell Flanagan, and he in his own right is an outstanding football player. Back to throw. They dump it off in the flat to Hutchinson. Hutchinson to the 30. Make it the 20. Turns the corner, and it gets upended as he approaches the 15-yard line. Great open field tackle there by the Canes. Cody, it looked like 2'9". Rudy Lopez was the guy that got there. Penalty marker on the play, but how about a textbook tackle going low to the ground and taking the feet out of Scotty Hutchinson after he made a nice move to get to the edge.
Yep, quick running back screen. And I actually did like the call because the Canes brought pressure up the A-gap on a linebacker blitz. But great job by the Canes secondary players keeping outside leverage. And then what that also does, Kevin, when you talk about getting your leverage and making a player go back inside, a holding call can happen. That receiver trying to get inside the numbers here on a stock block is going to reach. If you're getting outside leverage, that's exactly what happened. And now we go from the red zone to a now 1st and 20, and this is where the Canes defense likes to eat.
Tony Smith Jr. is the center. He wears 55 for this Spartans defense. Long play here, 1st and 20. Snap back to Morton. Looks right, fires right, ball's caught by Burley inside the 20-yard line, makes a move, works up the sideline, and finally gets leveled around the 11-yard line. Took 2 defenders to take Burley out, but a nice throw right there with a lot of gas on it, and Burley in a good spot there, secured the football and picked up extra yardage after the catch.
And that's what I'd like to see the Spartans do here, Kevin. Just take what the defense gives you. They're sitting back in a little zone, 3 deep there. Take the 10-yard curl, make it 2nd and 5. 2nd and very, very manageable here for the Spartans.
2nd and manageable, to say the least. Nice play there by Morton. Again, the Spartans on the move. They run it here to Hutchinson. Hutchinson broke the initial tackle, but here comes a wave of the Hurricane defense, and they are there to swarm Hutchinson. One of those guys there is double forwards once again. Dominic Brooks was there, and I think give him an assist, but Justin Johnson was in the vicinity on that particular play. But they lose a yard there, maybe a yard and a half, as Hutch unable to get in any kind of space.
And I'm going to sound like a broken record on this broadcast, Kevin. Active linebackers. Both of these teams have such active linebackers, and Brooks is a animal out there, and he's a great tackler. Great play by the Canes defense.
Facts. Donald Malone, the 3rd, is the left tackle. Dart over the middle of the field. The ball is caught by Flanagan for a touchdown. What a throw by Jake Mortensen. And for Mortensen, that's his 16th touchdown pass of the season. He hits Terrell Flanagan. His 16th catch of the year goes for a touchdown. That's his 6th touchdown of the year. That one goes for unofficially 14 yards. But how about the pass by Jake Mortensen on a fantastic route by Terrell Flanagan?
Absolute dart right in the chest in Flanagan. Just a little inside seam. The inside backer was actually trying to float in that area too, just wasn't quite fast enough to get there. Spartans with the 6-0 lead over the Canes early in the 1st.
Chris Noble, the left-footed kicker, ready to go. He might have moved initially. Snap is back. The hold is down, and the kick is up, and it's good. 2:30 to go, opening quarter. In the AZCFL Game of the Week here at Bellbank Park at the Legacy Sports Complex. Our new score, the Spartans 7 and the Canes 0. 2:30 to go. And when you get a short field like that, less than 20 yards to work with, you got to cash it in, Cody. And Mortensen found Flanagan for a touchdown, and they've got the early lead.
I was just about to say that. You shoot yourself in the foot on a holding call on 1st down. Great job by Mortensen and the Spartans play calling to just get a 2nd and manageable, really good 1st down call there. Quick curl, pick up an extra 5 yards after the catch, and then just a bullet in the seam for the touchdown. And that scoreboard, it looks like, is wrong. It is Spartans leading the Canes 7-0 at the end of the 1st quarter here.
LaRue Burley set that up with that nice catch and run on the near side. But for our 1st quarter, we have been looking right and exclusively right, as we haven't even had the football in Canes territory at all. It's been all Spartans here in the opening frame. As Cody waves to the fan base here at Bellbank Park.
We got a good crowd, man. Undefeated crowd, and it's kind of sad they took off all the bleachers. No one could sit in front of us. It looks like they blocked it off.
Well, we had some interesting interaction with the fans as one of our last couple of games, a couple of players started to jump into the stands, and things got a little bit raucous at one point or another. 2:30 to go, opening frame. It's 7-0 Spartans in this game of the week.
We just had fans come into the broadcasting booth.
Got to work on that security. All right, here's Chris Noble. Puts his leg into it, high, deep, end-over-end kick. It's going to be taken by Goudot. Angles to the 15, 20, makes a move at the 25, and finally gets his feet taken out around the 24-yard line. Nice job over there. A lot of guys doing a little chirping here, and we wouldn't expect anything else in this kind of a game. Special teams played, made by the Spartans. It was one of the 12s. We'll go with Davlon May. He made the special teams tackle right there. And with 2:11 to go, it's a 7-0 ball game. What should be noted here is that Cordell KP Prochi is not playing in this game, at least not yet anyway. It's Macias getting the start here as we feel the blustery conditions here out in Mesa. We're going to have to lock the security door here. Blitz coming, and it was Jake Lee that was in the backfield. You talk about timing the shotgun snap. And Cody, in your day, at any point, flag football, growing up, high school football, college, Division I, II, III, have you ever seen anybody pick off a shotgun snap?
I haven't seen it on the shotgun snap. I've seen it on a fumbled shotgun snap where he fumbled the ball, actually didn't even drop the ground here. It's all about timing. I mean, you're taught at such a young age from a good coach to get your reads. And that's why, you see defensive linemen watching, the good ones watch so much film on first step and habits and pre-snap technique and yada, 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 because you do see that happen. It is a rarity, but it's the good defensive linemen are always hunting.
Gabaldon snap is back, big hole right up the middle, and that was a nifty run. Starting to run downhill for the Canes was Greg Dotsry, and he just got tripped up there as he went through that second line into that secondary. One of the interior linemen tripped him up. Otherwise, he could have been still running. Great work up front. Chris Gabaldon, the center, he makes all the calls up front. The left tackle is Christopher Betancourt. The left guard, Betancourt's the left guard. Dobbins is the left tackle. Macias to the air. Deep ball down the middle of the field, and the ball is caught as the receiver catches the ball falling inside the 30-yard line. What a spectacular catch on the other end for the Canes. It's Joseph Parker Jr. after that absolutely beautifully thrown ball with a ton of loft, plenty of air under it, and making the catch and securing the football was Joseph Parker Jr.
Could not ask for a better pass there, Kevin. He had pressure in his face. He gets hit and throws an absolute dime. I mean, that was a double, triple coverage, too. Receiver able to get over the top, blows past the secondary, but what a throw by Macias.
Unofficially, 54-yard pass play, Macias to Joseph Parker Jr., and the Canes are knocking on the door. They are in Spartans territory for the first time tonight, working right to left in their all-white uniforms with the white helmets. They fake it, and they throw it to the slot area. It was Phil Ross was one of those guys there, but the intended target in this particular case was double eights. That's A.J. Schaefer, a wide receiver, and there was a collision in that secondary. Cody, what'd you see?
I saw a quick combo route there. It looked like the inside receiver slot guy actually tacking up point at the corner. I thought they had the slant underneath there on the RPO. Nonetheless, good play by the Spartans secondary.
Keep an eye out on Antonio Smothers, the defensive end for the Spartans. He is an absolute playmaker. Wears number 10, and just wait. As long as he's out there and he's healthy, we'll be calling his name a couple times throughout this ball game. First quarter's in the books. You're watching the AZCFL Game of the Week on the CMX Broadcast Network. First play of the second quarter is a run right up the middle, breaking tackles and falling forward for the Canes. His deuces right there. Greg Dotsry once again. Big hole up the middle, and he got a lot of help from those bigs, paving the way up front. Huge blocks as they push the ball back, and they push the Spartans defense back towards the 5-yard line. What a run.
Yeah, good answer here on this drive by the Canes, man. kind of got punched in the mouth the last 2 times on the offensive side of the ball. Putting together a great drive here to start the second quarter.
Anthony Black, huge block up front. They go to dots 3 again on the Macias handoff. And right there shooting the gap for the Spartans was the big fella. And he looked a little angry right there. Devorian Jones, the linebacker, lost his hat. He's going to have to come off. But what a pop on the tailback.
Jones fired up too, man, and rightfully so. That was a big-time tackle for loss. They were inside, I think, the 2 there, Kevin, and a 2-yard tackle for loss. Jones splitting the gap, like you said, hedging off the inside guard, trying to work to the second level, coming away with tackle for loss.
Phil Ross lines up to the far side, breaking the huddle and lining up to the near side is Goudreau. Macias in the tailback. He's got Dostry next to him. 88's lined up in the slot. Macias back to throw, looking left, surveys on the field. The ball is in and out of the hands of Phil Ross. And Cody, he might have just dropped the touchdown reception right there, but another nice throw there by Macias. He was on time and on target. Phil Ross just dropped the pigskin.
Macias threaded the needle right there, Kevin. In between 2 defenders, one is that, and Ross is a great playmaker. He wishes he has that back.
So the big fella, Devorian Jones, back on the field. Sitting down here for the Spartans was Fred Mason. And with a 3rd down and goal from the 5-yard line. Fake it to Dotser in the play fake through the back of the end zone. The ball is incomplete. The Canes wanted Alonzo Simpson. We'll call him Arlonzo Simpson, if that is indeed Arlonzo. And I just cringe when I say that because we want to double check that. But the ball was back there. I thought the receiver was open, Cody, and maybe another drop ball perhaps.
Slant corner and great coverage by the Spartans there, but that's just the combo route slant corner here. I'd like to see that ball probably just a little bit more towards that back corner pylon. Nonetheless, a big-time stop by the Spartans defense.
Let's go to the special teams. It's going to be Luke Trudy with a chance to kick a 22-yard field goal. Snap is back. Hold is there. The kick is on its way, and the kick is right through the uprights. 12:36 to go to halftime. Spartans 7, Canes 3. And for the Canes, nice answer to move the football, get a little confidence that they can throw the ball down the field. Again, all set up there by Joseph Parker's 54-yard reception. But then that defense for the Spartans, a little bend and no break this time.
So early in this game, though, Kevin, but you did feel like after starting the game with back-to-back 3-and-outs, you had to get some points here, or at least just flip the field position. To able to go walk away with the field goal there. Yes, they would have liked a touchdown, especially being inside the 2, but I think a couple keys that they were able to establish there, Kevin, won the run game. Multiple big-time 8+ yard runs there, and that does a lot for an offense, especially open up the playbook. But also, hey, these guys are not immortal, and we could score on them. Big-time drive.
Cactus Fuel, refueling tomorrow's athlete. Official hydration drink for the Arizona Cactus Football League. Vegan and gluten-free, low sugar and low carbs. Visit them at cactusfueldrinks.com and get our fuel today. Early action here, outstanding early action. No soccer in the surrounding areas here. Kind of quiet at Legacy. First time it's been as quiet as we've seen here, but good crowd on hand here to enjoy this weather here as we segue out of the spring into summer. Deandre Dickerson in space, 30. And he'll lower the shoulder and finally get knocked down on a special teams tackle there by the Canes. 41 all over the play. Marquise Bray was on that play, and he was able to put a little physical hit there on Deandre Dickerson Jr.
And he's a player who can just score anywhere. You want to get him the football in space, get him in special teams. 11 catches in 5 games, Kevin, and 4 of those are touchdowns. He's a big playmaking ability, averages over 25 yards of reception. Deandre Dickerson is a hell of a player for the Canes, or for the Spartans.
Jake Mortensen back at quarterback. He completes 61% of his passes, 16 touchdowns on the season up against 2 picks. That's taking care of the football. Dickerson Jr. lines up to the near side. Across him, providing the coverage, is Trumaine Smith. Snap back, it's a low snap. They run it, and they run it right up the middle. The tailback did a little faux shizzle at the point of impact. And for the Spartans, their ball carrier, in this case, was Solomon Burley. No gain on the play. Well, their forward progress will net Burley a yard. And look at those guys up front. The big fella, one of the defensive tackles for the Canes, 9'2", J.R. Kinnikinny. He is a specimen, Cody.
He is the run stuffer. Plays 0 and 1 tech up front for the Canes. And when you have the outside edge rushers, too, who are really athletic, that is a disastrous defensive line.
Hutchinson on the jet sweep, and he's got nowhere to go. Great defense pursuing to the ball for the Canes. And you have to like the pressure and the attitude that the Canes are playing with here, trailing 7-3. But this defense is fired up, and they got Hutchinson caught in the backfield. I do understand trying to get speed to the edge, Cody, but the Canes aren't allowing it. And you might have to start thinking about running the football in between the tackles. And you can understand why they don't want to go up against the nose tackle in this case, if you will, the big fella for the Canes. That's 92 we just referred to. Kenny, love that name, J.R. Kenny. All right, 3rd down, 13. Canes showing blitz. Here they come. Morton into the air. His pass is a low pass to the far side of the field. It was Burley again, the target. And coming in there, providing the coverage for the Canes, single coverage of that was T.J. Downs. So early on, both teams defensively are starting to settle in, and it'll be an opportunity for the offense to try to find some rhythm. But you talk about the defense is forcing the issue here in this one, Cody.
Yeah, and field position. So right here, I mean, that was the first possession for the Spartans that started on their side of the territory, even after a really good return by Dickerson here. But the first punt that they're about to force here in this football game, and they're about to get some good field position too.
Punting situation here. Back deep with a low snap is Scotty Hutchinson. And Hutchinson puts a leg into it. He boots it deep. It's a fair catch. And that right there, 18, that is our guy, Arlonzo Simpson. So we'll have to continue to work on that.
What a punt by Hutchinson.
Oh, my goodness. What a punt.
Hutchinson plays all over the field for the Spartans. He's played a lot of quarterback. He's played running back, catches passes out of the backfield. And he just boomed one, skied one into the dark night sky here at Bell Bank Park. But he did it with about 5 Canes players about a foot away from blocking that punt.
A low snap, and he just boots one unofficially 55 yards down the field. How about a special teams player of the week for Scotty Hutchinson? To the ground game we go. It's Dotstry with the carry for the Canes. Again, we'll double check that. It looks like we have a new ball carrier for Arizona. Toting the rock this time was Cody's guy out of the University of Texas, Kenneth Mitchell, the ball carrier there. It wasn't Dotstry, it's Mitchell this time. And it's such a great point, too. You know, it bears repeating. These guys do so much during the week. If they actually get any kind of practice time to work out with their guys, even if it's just going to catch a few balls or just catching some balls off a jugs machine or anything like that, anything football related, if they can get that done during the week, they got to step up here on Saturday nights. Macias to the ground game, and they go to Mitchell once again. This time he angles to the middle of the field, running in between the hash marks for Mitchell. Nice defense again. He picked up some positive yardage. But for the Spartans, Devontae Allen, once again, right there to make an excellent defensive play. He's their leading tackler, as I mentioned. That was his 25th tackle of the year for 22, Devontae Allen.
And I highlighted this last possession here. Canes are starting to get their running game going. Picked up yet another first down with the legs of the running back.
Low snap. They run it back. They want it to Ross, and Ross is going to run right back to where the football came from. They just were not able to get anybody in space as Ross took a pretty good hit. He's slow to get up, but he's fine. But the idea that they're just kind of going east and west here versus north and south is somewhat interesting because they're concerned with that defense, and they want to make sure that they play conservative here early in this game.
And that right there was supposed to be a rocket screen with the trips formation to the left. It just never got set up and developed.
Schaefer, the tight end, lines up in the near snap. This is going to be a design run for Macias. Macias to the edge. He gets to the numbers, and he gets dropped right there. Another strong tackle for the Spartans for Devontae Allen. His second tackle on this series, his third of the game. And hustling onto the field for the Arizona Spartans is Devorian Jones. He's back on there. One thing that we've seen for Dietrich Howard's defense is they definitely they utilize their bench and they move in bodies throughout the game, and they have fresh horses in there most of the time.
Yeah, an outside linebacker there, Ryan Napick, staying home on the read option, making quarterback cut back in. Short, minimal game for the Canes.
3rd down, 7. Macias to the air. High ball, and the ball was almost intercepted. With a chance to pick that one off for the Spartans was the defensive player, Andre Goodman. And that was a high throw from Macias. But the interesting story here is no Cordell Povchi. KP is not in this game. And when KP was running the offense, that also might be why we see some a different type of offense for the Canes, is they're trying to work in a new quarterback here.
And they like to roll out KP a lot, especially utilize his legs and a lot of play action passes. KP was coming in this game having 178 yards rushing, at the quarterback position. And we broadcast a game a couple weeks ago against the Outlaws. His legs were a huge threat, keeping plays alive, especially on 3rd down. More of a pocket passer here for Macias. He's just got to bring it down just a bit.
Trudy in punt formation. Snap is back from the 30. Puts his leg into one. Not his best kick. It's off the side of his foot. Takes a bounce around the 40-yard line, and it'll be touchdown there by the Canes' Tanner Swanger. We haven't mentioned Swanger's name just yet. He's a tight end, but he's also a playmaker for this Canes offense. You mentioned KP, a true dual threat, right, Cody? This guy extended a lot of plays with his legs, as you mentioned, and he was able to turn a lot of that really challenges defensively, turn it into offense. He was able to make things happen when there were things that weren't there available for him.
And I thought KP had a really good chemistry with Swanger, especially on some of the outside zone play action where we'd roll out and Swanger's coming off in the flat in a short route. They hit that numerous times a couple weeks ago. We haven't seen it yet today.
And your patented pop pass, too,
pop
over
pass,
the middle.
Man, tight end pop pass.
Good stuff. Like it there. Deandre Dickerson to the near side. Across from him, defending, is Tremaine Smith. That's the matchup we're going to see. They fake it. A little delay to Robertson. Breaks the tackle at the 40. 45-yard line, and he'll fall forward to the 47-yard line. He was in the grasp of the Canes tackler, Marquise Bray, and another nice job there by Tremaine Smith.
Tremaine Smith, one of my favorite defensive backs in this entire league. He is an island corner, can go press man, also drop down in a bail technique, out in cover 3, just opening up his hips and looking at the quarterback. He will read the quarterback's eyes, and he will make a play, jump in the routes, but he's also not afraid to put his nose in the trough and make a tackle just like that. Tremaine Smith, and there's a lot of good corners in this league. This league is not hurting for defensive backs at all, and I have the utmost respect for really good defensive back play. Tremaine Smith is one of those guys.
Nose in the trough. We're not going to get that anywhere else but from my guy, CC. Great stuff right there. Timeout on the field. It's 7-3. Spartans have the early lead. 4:30 to go to intermission. And Cody, we're treated to a pretty good football game here on a Saturday night.
A defensive battle. I mean, the commissioner show, which I believe is Mr. Matt Archer and Zach Elvira and a couple other people that come on that show, they said this is a defensive battle, and they've been spot on so far. But you can tell why these two teams have separated themselves from the pack, Kevin, and it starts with the defensive line. You got a monstrous defensive line, especially like both of these two teams have, and then good edge rushers and backers that flow sideline to sideline so well. You're in pretty good shape in this league.
And I would also like to add to that, they are led by outstanding leadership in Dietrich, if you will, for the Spartans, and then, of course, James Fisher, Aiden Fisher, that whole group. And the pass is over the middle of the field, and the ball is caught by Scotty Hutchinson. He punts it, he kicks it, he throws it, he runs it, and he also catches passes in the slot. Scotty Hutchinson is a do-it-all kind of guy. He's an MVP-type player.
Yeah, nice job by Hutchinson, not letting himself get reroute, getting back in position under his route, and having a big-time catch, 10 to 15-yard gain.
Hutchinson, a gain of 12 on that play. They run to Robertson with a big hole into the secondary, lowers the shoulder, takes it to the 25-yard line, and it wasn't a touchdown-saving tackle by the Canes' Jake Reed. You'd have seen Ross Robertson finish that play in the end zone.
Great job by the left side of the offensive line, too, for the Spartans. A fan-out kick block by the tackle, the guard pressing in his D tackle inside, led from a big hole, and yet another first down for the Spartans.
Key word there, downhill for Robertson, a gain of 13 yards as they approach the red zone. Ball will be spotted on the 25-yard line, 4:02 to go. Got a little note here for you. Tell Cody that you two sound great together. And there you go. Well,
Michelle hooking us up, man. Well, you tell her it's greatly appreciated. And the comment section is blowing up. Kevin, we had 102 live viewers at one point. It is consistently in the upper 90s. Our guy, Coach Dominic Willis from Highland High School, one of the best defensive coaches in the state at the Arizona high school scene, checking in.
What do you say, Dom? Thanks for tuning in here.
Coach Willis, the
state
man. Right
championship coach Willis,
yes,
too,
sir.
right?
Highland Hawks, man. That's a damn good football team.
Took care of business. How about a little revenge against Chaparral? Yeah. That is outstanding game. Had the privilege of calling that game on the network, on the NFHS network. But we are ready to go right here. It's the AZCFL Game of the Week. Morton with that shotgun snap. Rolls to his right. Steps through trouble. Dumps it off into the flat on the far side. And the ball will be caught by Flanagan.
No, it dropped.
Check that.
Skid the ground.
It was Flanagan as the target. One of the great things about the numbers that the Spartans have, I love the fact they've got targets listed in their statistical category for Terrell Flanagan. He's only been targeted 18 times on the year heading into play tonight. That just seems crazy, but it's Billy Sewing Jr. He leads the team in targets with 36.
I thought you were going to say you appreciate that the numbers are white, because I remember week one, it was still sunny outside. We couldn't see any of the numbers. It was the glossy Outlaws, fancy blue, and we couldn't read anything.
I think these two teams have the best leadership in this league, and I also think both these teams have two of the best uniform combinations as well. Hutchinson on the delay, starts inside, bounces it outside towards the numbers. He loses his footing, and he's going to be tackled around the 25-yard line. And once again, making a nice play was Dominic Brooks, and then Peanut all over that play. We got Peanut in this league, and then how about Booby? We got Booby as well.
We do have Booby, and he was mystery back for a while.
Mr. Conley.
He wasn't on. Booby Conley wasn't on any of the rosters. But I don't know, man. He might have to step aside because Peanut Tapa making play after play, and I already called him the midseason name of the week here in this league. But just another player that makes an impact on the defensive side of the ball, sideline to sideline football player.
If you want to ISO Peanut Tapa, he's wearing number 33. Take a look and zone in on him. Morton working out of the gun. 3 wide receivers to the wide side of the field. Back to throw for Morton. From the pocket, scrambles again, throws back over behind his body there, and it's Sewing Jr. over the middle. And right there, batting that pass down and then wiping things off was Dominic Brooks. DB playing like a DB right there. He's outstanding. For that guy to be roving over the middle of the field, you got to account for him every single snap, Cody.
And I'm biased. I am not afraid to tell the broadcast right now, all 87 of you, that I am extremely biased to good defensive play. Brooks, I've said his name multiple times already on the broadcast. That is a football player I would not want to go one-on-one with. He can hit. He can tackle extremely well. He can run. And right there, he just showed he can cover. That is what we call a versatile football player on the defensive side of the ball.
We went for 105 to 87. What happened? Are the Hawks guys not watching the game any longer?
I think it's dinner time. You know, this is a family broadcast.
7:46 in the Valley of the Sun.
Got to get those carbs in, man.
Some people are like, no, we're not doing carbs. We're doing keto. We're not doing any carbs. Boy, I tell you what, eating as you get older, Cody, it's a challenge. You can eat what you want, do what you want.
You got to join the Cactus League, man. You burn some calories out there.
Well, we got to start drinking the fuel again, right? The Cactus Fuel. Vegan and gluten-free, low sugar and low carbs. It's the Cactus Fuel. You got to get your hands on some of that. Empty set for Morton, 5 wide receiver package. Snap is back. From the pocket, rifles one over the middle of the field. The ball is incomplete. He wanted Hutchinson, and Hutch is sitting there patting his chest, saying, hey, that's on me. But high throw from Mortensen. But it's the Canes defense standing tall here, and they've bent but haven't broken here. At 1:44 to go to the intermission, it's still a 7-3 ball game, and it's been a defensive juggernaut here on both sides.
Kevin, empty set, 2 wide receiver set on the short side. He had inside slot, which was Terrell Flanagan, wide open on the post corner. Just a tremendous combo route up top, which was hitch post corner on that short side. The safety leaked in. He was wide open. Mortensen just missed him.
Boy, Flanagan, he is an outstanding route runner. Has a lot of polish on those routes. Turnover on downs. Jake Lee showing blitz from the outside. 3 wide receivers bunch to the near side at the 20. Running the football, it's Dots 3 this time. a little bit of a delay. He gets tripped up, and who's there to make the tackle? Devontae Allen. From 122 to the other 22, Devontae Allen is 5th tackle of this football game. He has been a true leader out of that secondary spot, and he's just a professional out there, Cody. He just makes a lot of plays, and it's his discipline to be in the right area at the right time.
Hey, we talk about business decisions in this league, whether
Absolutely.
you're going head up and really taking on the guys. These guys already know what the business decision making. They are coming to smack you in the mouth every single play.
Macias with Dotsry to his left. Snap back, looking left to Macias. Look back right now. He's going to scramble to the far side. Penalty marker down at the 30, 35. Breaks a tackle to 35 and will casually step out of bounds after he picks up some positive yardage. Penalty marker dropped down back at the 20-yard line, and I think this one might be coming back. Looks to be in the area of holding, Cody Cameron.
That is holding land all day and relatively, and I don't want to jinx it, knock on wood all in this broadcast table right here. Relatively clean game. This is only probably the 4th penalty we'd have, which would just break records for the Cactus League broadcast.
It would. You like the fact that they're playing disciplined football. And I think in Week 7, we would kind of expect that, right, to see the metamorphosis of the league from Week 1 to Week 7. That change that we referenced there is a change for the good.
And teams that are 6-0, usually don't shoot themselves in the foot and have relatively mistake football.
Good game here with less than a minute to play, 57 seconds to go. Macias backed up. He'll take the snap around his own 8. They run it to the tailback up the middle of the field, and there is very little real estate to work with. It's Dotsry again, and Jake Lee all over that play with help.
Yeah, another name we have not talked about yet on the Spartans defense, but he makes a big impact up there is Big 99. Raphael Lee, it's a player we were able to watch like 3 weeks ago, Kevin, and he is that plug 0-to-1 technique. Again, both teams have one. The Canes, they have Kinney? Yeah, JR Kinney, and then on the other side, it's Raphael Lee. When you have pluggers like that up front, it makes it extremely hard to run up the A and B gap.
Run stuffers, as we like to say in the business, Cody Cameron. Macias will face a 3rd down and a country mile. He's going to run it to Dotsry. Dotsry gets decked in the backfield. Great defensive pressure there by the Spartans. All over to make that play for the Spartans was Christian Upshaw. We've said his name a couple of times early on, but he wreaking havoc in the backfield. No help for that offensive line. It's just Upshaw crashing through, banging bodies, and sticking people in the backfield.
Another former Power 5 player making his presence felt once again, and it is all defensive battle here, Kevin. Absolutely love it. 7-3 should be a jam-packed second half for us.
Triple zeros here in our first half. You're watching the AZCFL Game of the Week on the CMX Network. Back after this, all of our halftime festivities straight ahead. We'll take it down to the field at halftime. Here's Lucas.
And ladies and gentlemen, welcome to halftime. I'm here with Coach Fisher. Sir, you're down with against the Spartans 7-3 right now. What do you think can be improved in the second half?
Well, a lot. We have 3 points, so a lot can be improved. We gotta execute. We gotta get some scores going. Gotta get some stops on defense. They have a pretty good game plan. Looks good. Their pass looks good. They're able to mix it up and run against us as well. We gotta clean some stuff up on the O-line, and then that's our adjustment for the halftime.
For sure. And down at the goal line, you guys were really close, but had to settle for 3. How do you plan on getting the ball in the end zone this second half?
So I could tell you about those 2 plays that we dropped the ball. Those are called NAFs. I'll tell you what that means. And can I say cuss words on here? Yeah. A NAF is a non-athletic fuck. We had 2 of those at the goal line. We can't have those going into the second half.
Thank you, Coach. Canes down 7-3, and going to talk to the Spartans here. I'm here with quarterback of the Spartans, Jake Morton. Jake, your touchdown pass is leading the game right now. How did that throw feel?
It felt good. I've missed a few throws, though. We should have some more points on the board. Not satisfied. We should have more than 7. But, I mean, we got a freeze play there. Our guy got an inside release, good route. So, it felt good. It felt good, but we should have more on the board for sure.
So, what are you guys going to work on going into the second half, put up more points on the board?
Just executing. Everything that we're running is there. I'm just rushing things a little bit. Honestly, it's on me. I just gotta get the ball to my playmakers and let them go to work.
And then Jake, can you do me a favor? Turn your back to the camera so they can see what's on the back. Right here, FTMNMT. Jake, do you know what that means?
The man next to me, yes sir.
The man next to me. And how do you guys plan on using that going into the second half?
I mean, we always play for the man next to us. It's about the name that's on the chest, not about the name on the back of the jersey. So, we out here representing for the Spartans. So,
I really like that, Jake. Good luck in the second half.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it.
Welcome back to the Arizona Cactus Football League here on the CMX Network. I'm Kevin Derryberry alongside Cody Cameron. We are at Bellbank Park here in Mesa, and it is the AZCFL Game of the Week on the CMX Network. Glad you can be part of our Saturday night. A lot going on here. Very entertaining first half. I spoke with offensive coordinator for the Arizona Spartans, Aaron Wilkins, at the break, and he just mentioned that he needs his quarterback to stay patient inside the pocket, and he's got to find ways to get his tailback, Ross Robertson, more touches, as well as 23, Deandre Dickerson. And here it's Dickerson right now. Dickerson with the football, cuts it up the field to the 20, breaks the tackle at the 25, down the sideline 30, cuts in the middle 40, near sideline, penalty marker down 40, and he's finally going to be shoved out of bounds right near the 35-yard line for the Canes. Over there to make maybe a touchdown-saving tackle was Andrew Jones. Penalty markers thrown back at the 30-yard line. This one might be coming back, but I tell you what, the stiff arm at the 20, 25-yard line for Dickerson got him into some space.
Well, there's a time there, Kevin, where you saw about 7 Canes players, and all there was Dickerson. Then he got a block. Then he stiff-armed a guy right into the turf, and he took off for another 30 yards. I mean, that is the type of playmaker Deandre Dickerson Jr. is. He got a huge kick-out block by DeWitt Caswell, number 2 on the Spartans, absolutely unloaded on a Canes kick team player, man. Flattened him on his back, but like you said, this one is coming back. They're inside the 20 to start this possession. They're
How about
on 20.
DeWitt Caswell making that type of block? Outstanding. Great ISO work on the visual of that. And for the Spartans at 6-0 with 7 points on the board, they're going to begin this drive at the 15-yard line. It's Burley breaking the huddle to the line up to the far side, just inside the numbers. Dickerson Jr. to the near side. It's Flanagan in the slot, and then Sewing Jr. next to him. This near side is loaded. There goes Sewing Jr. He's the action man. Snap back, a delay to Robertson. Here comes the blitz, and he gets stuffed in the backfield by Dominic Brooks. 44, shooting the gap, and nice little swim move on the offensive line. He just ate up the tackle, Cody, and then just munched the tailback, Robertson.
He's unblockable. I mean, you watch an interior guards trying to work to the second level to block him. They're either too slow or just not physical enough because Brooks is annihilating people out there. Swiss Army knife his way into the backfield. This has got to be his 3rd tackle for loss in this football game.
He just absolutely unloaded on that offensive line, just took them apart. So another TFL loss of 4. Snap back for Morton. Gets the ball in the hands of Dickerson to the 10, 15, and he'll fall forward towards the 18-yard line. Holding on right there was Dominic Brooks. And we talk about playing sideline to sideline for a linebacker, a la Junior Seau. Boy, that was Brooks getting to the football in a hurry, and he was taking on Deandre Dickerson Jr. That is impressive.
And that's why I really like Dickerson's game, man, because he gets north. He is a north-to-south football player. You see 3 Canes defenders right there, and he's not dancing around left or right. He's getting north, and now they're in a 3rd and manageable.
Rakeem Hicks is the right guard, and there goes Robertson in motion. He'll line up on the far side of the football with a trips in the slot formation. Unique formation here. Dickerson Jr., single coverage to the near side. He can take a shot this way if he wants to. Snap back to Morton. He throws over the middle field. The ball's caught by Sewing in space at the 30, 35, falls towards the 40-yard line, and there is the man, Billy Sewing Jr., making the catch, and it's yards after the catch for the one-time Spartans Offensive Player of the Year in 2018, a 6-year starter. That's Billy Sewing Jr. right over the middle of the field.
Really like that pre-snap formation there, Kevin. So they usually are empty, trips right, 2 receivers to the left. There they were in quads. It messed up the Canes' defensive banjo bracket. They were able to slip Sewing Jr. up the seam.
Unofficially a gain of 19. Robertson stuffed in the backfield once again. Penetration from that Canes front, and leading the way was Mikkel Mayer. And Mikkel, he too just dusting off that left side of the line for the Spartans. Got to the tailback, put a shot on him, and then took him down to the turf.
And we talk about linebacking cores. We've spotlighted it numerous times in this broadcast. That is the plug. That is your A-gap plug, inside backer, downhill force for this Canes defense. I am just so – I love both linebacking cores, man. It's so fun to watch.
Outstanding. Very talented group. Loss of 1 on a TFL by Mayer. Shotgun snap, play fake for Morton. He throws a slant over the middle of the field, and the ball is incomplete. He wanted Burley, and right there for the Canes defensively applying pressure there was T.J. Downs.
T.J. Downs, just another player, man, who is a playmaker all over the field for the Canes. Getting some love, man, from the comments. Eric Dennis letting us know that we're having a pretty good broadcasting night. We feel good up here, man. It's beautiful.
I missed. All I saw was way. I didn't see the line there. But
he said we're good.
All right.
We're rocking.
Thanks, Mr. Dennis. We appreciate that. Glad you're part of our Saturday night here out in Mesa and wherever you watch it. In fact, hit us up on our Twitter accounts at KDB Voice. Hit us with the hashtag roll call. Where are you watching tonight's game from a global perspective? Fire off a shot for us. Mortensen to the air from the pocket. There's that patience we're looking for, and the patience doesn't pay off. He gets dropped to the turf on a quarterback sack for the Canes. Two guys there, but the first one to hit him was Deontay Flowers, another fantastic football name, Deontay Flowers. He was in full bloom on that play right there.
And there's my guy, too, Peanut Tapa. Peanut getting on the – when you have two edge rushers like that, especially with your interior guys, and then your linebacking core who can cover and go sideline to sideline, nasty defense, man. We were told this was going to be a defensive battle, and we're getting the defensive show here tonight, Kevin. Great stop to start the second half of the Canes.
Hutch now on to punt. Low snap. Penalty marker comes in. Low line drive kick back deep for the Canes is 18. They're saying Joey Buckley. We'll work on that. We tried to get that updated info at the break. Penalty marker on the kick, and they're going to wave it off. So the Canes get the football. The 6-0 Canes, who are a very different team with Macias taking the snaps for a team that is really set up to run RPOs in that spread offense with the legs of Cordell Profti. We found out at halftime that KP will miss at least 2 games due to a suspension, and we believe he'll be back next week. So in the meantime, they go to the backup quarterback, Arturo Macias, and Macias is no slouch. This guy can throw the football. He can sling it down the field, Cody.
And he doesn't make mistakes heading into the game. 6 touchdowns to no interceptions. Hope I didn't just broadcast during some.
Dotsry sweep, left side, turn the corner at the numbers, and there's 3 black shirts waiting for him to stand him up and shove him out of bounds. One of those guys there for the Spartans was Tyree Taylor. And the guys on the edge for the Spartans, again, they string them out, Cody, and there's just no way for Dotsry to get to the edge, let alone turn the corner.
Yeah, they're really making the Canes one-dimensional. They have pretty much the entire game here. It's a bummer, too, because Kenny Mitchell's one of my favorite running backs in this league. Coming into this game, averaging over 6.4 yards a carry for the Canes, but they are stuffing the interior of that defense right now. The Spartans defense is flying to the football.
8:49 to go, third quarter from their own 22-yard line. High snap, they run it to Dotsry left side. He'll pick up a couple yards, and he'll try to move that pile forward, and he just gets driven back. You talk about being pile-driven back. One more time, double nines, Raphael Lee in the middle, making a difference, pushing people back.
Hey, there's one of the best defensive players ever called the Fridge. That's pretty much what's going on right now for the Spartans defense, man. I don't know how you try to run up the A and B gap against a player who is plugging like that. He just full force against the center and interior guard, pressing his back into the backfield, makes it hard to run the football, Kevin.
What a reference there for William the Refrigerator Perry. Macias to the air, and there's nobody home. Wanted Ross as he curled his route towards the hash marks at the center of the field, and the ball was thrown towards back the numbers. So an incomplete pass, a punting situation here for the Canes and head coach James Fisher. But let's go back to William the Refrigerator Perry, Cody. The one guy, a lineman, wearing number 72, I believe, punches one in the Super Bowl, and it was everybody but Sweetness. That still bothers me a great deal some 25 years later. Patriots and the Bears in that Super Bowl. What was that? The Super Bowl shuffle, that whole thing, but a great reference to the Fridge, William Perry.
Way before my days. It's just a player, you get to hear over the years.
BC, that's before Cody. Punt is away. It's Suing in motion. and he breaks a tackle at the 50, still on his feet, tries to spin out of some tackles, and he can't do it at all. But there is no quit in that young man, Billy Sewing Jr. He just continues to try to make a play, even when there's nothing there. He's wiry.
Yeah, and Spartans defense have gotten it done here. This is where you see offensively, hey, you have the field possession. You're starting right there at the 50. You're thinking points here. I mean, this stating the obvious, obviously. You're thinking points every time you drive, but you want some momentum swing. Let's go punch them in the mouth. They had success in the first half running the football, especially on first downs. They were chunking 6 to 7, 8 yards a carry. Maybe we see some play action to open up here with that. But you're thinking you need some points on this drive.
Ross Robertson led the way with over 35 yards rushing in that first half. It's Scotty Hutchinson will line up in the backfield here in this pistol formation. Trips to the near side on the near hash marks. A lot of bodies in that pile, including Deandre Dickerson Jr. and Terrell Flanagan. Pistol snap back. They run it to Robertson. He's in the backfield. He gets, this is Scotty Hutchinson. Hutchinson had two defenders in the backfield, and somehow he slipped through them and was able to net a yard. He was trapped in the backfield, was Hutch, and again, maneuvered his way through that defense and picked up a yard. That is one impressive 1 yard right there, Cody Cameron.
Yeah, and Marquise Bray was about 4 yards in the backfield immediately on the snap. That is the middle linebacker for the undefeated Canes. And that's a bummer because Deandre Dickerson on the outside there in a trips bunch formation here on that short side of the field towards the broadcast booth, he flattened one of the Canes secondary players on a stock block. The outside was open. That Canes interior is just slicing through too quick.
Sometimes we like to refer to that, Cody, as a D-cleater, and that's what you saw right there. Shotgun snap here. Here comes the Canes blitz. They pick it up. Ball is caught by Dickerson, and Dickerson shuffles the feet, tries to make a move towards the center of the field, and he'll just pick up about 2, maybe 3 yards. Those are some tough earned yards there as things start to get a little bit chippy as they pull these guys off the pile here. One of those guys there making things difficult was Justin Johnson, number 90 for the Canes.
If I could spotlight a matchup, it'd be that one right there. Deandre Dickerson, who's obviously a player you want to give the football in space like they did. Quick hitch, 1 to 2 yard hitch, just give him the ball, make him make a move. But the corner opposite of him, Trumaine Smith, number 5 for the Canes, a player I spotlighted in the first half. One of my favorite defensive backs in this entire league. He is phenomenal, making the tackle there for only about 2 yards.
And he's almost 6 foot. He is a specimen at that cornerback spot. He's really a safety body. So they use Dickerson as a decoy. They set up the play to the far side. The ball is caught by Burley, breaks a tackle at the 40, turns around towards the sideline and picks up another 7 yards. Nice job there as he faked inside, turned his body around to the outside and picked up extra yardage as he got into space to move the chains.
And great job by Morton, taking what the defense gave him. They gave him that quick curl. It was the third option read on that offensive play. And Burley doing a great job of making the defender miss and picking up yards. And that just shows you how deep they are at receiver. They are 4 deep there who can make a play anytime you need them for the Spartans.
Mortensen to Burley, gain of 14. Now they come back this way to Dickerson at the 30. 25, and he'll fall towards the 18-yard line. Check that. Make that the 23-yard line. I beg your pardon, but Dickerson making things happen. Deandre Dickerson Jr., a bona fide threat every time he touches the football, and he's one of those guys that's classic, but you want to get him the football in space, no question about it.
Once again, though, Billy Sewing Jr., another player, same thing with Burley and Flanagan.
They're loaded.
I mean, the OC, he talked to you at halftime. He's like, hey, we got so many playmakers. We just got to give them the football.
It's like Tyreek Hill and Mecole Hardman saying, get me the football. Mortensen from the pocket throws a bullet over the middle. It's caught by Sewing Jr. Penalty marker comes in. It was left at the 30-yard line. But Billy Sewing Jr., every time he touches the football, he looks to make a play. He's one of those guys where he believes that he can score every time he touches the football, even though that is a monumental challenge.
And we're going to have an offensive hold here, but I really like that formation. That's twice now they ran that. That's a quads, and they stack in the 2 slot receivers. They like Sewing Jr. in that inside slot in the quads, and he's wide open on that quick little seam. All he has to do there, Kevin, is find the pocket. The inside backer is flanking all the way to the flat, and the Canes don't have an extra defender there. And that little pocket right there, just a quick seam, they've hit it twice. And once again, they are in the same formation here, quads right.
Spartans, 2nd and 13 from the 34-yard line of the Canes. Empty set here for Mortensen. Quick pass to Flanagan. Flanagan makes the catch in the backfield, makes one man miss, darts towards the far hash marks in the center of the football field, and picks up positive yardage.
There's so much you can do with that formation. There they utilize a quick screen, and they get the inside backers to actually float over and over pursue. Great juke move. Great juke move to just, put the sticks on and hit RB to make the inside backer miss. But you're going to see that formation throughout the rest of the game here, and they're going to do a ton of combo routes.
You wonder what the play is here because Deandre Dickerson didn't even join the huddle here. So either he's not involved in this next play or he is playing the possum game right here, or maybe decoy is a better word for it. But it'll be interesting to see what Deandre Dickerson does on this particular play. Morton flushed out of the pocket, scrambles near side. He's at the 50, throws on the run like he likes to do, and the ball's going to be caught. Coming back towards the football was Terrell Flanagan. He makes the catch around the 23-yard line. Wow, what a play there, as Flanagan was absolutely mugged on the play defensively. And I don't see any markers down there, Cody, so this play should stand up.
That's because Tremaine Smith was in the pocket. They switched there on the post wheel, and Tremaine Smith coming downhill, making a great play right on the hip pocket of the receiver. It looked like a super big gain because Mortensen had rolled out and probably backpedaled, about 20 yards back from where that football was snapped. And Tremaine Smith, great coverage, making the tackle and forcing a fourth down here.
All of that for a gain of 7 if it stands up. So we don't see any penalty markers on the field, but it looks as though that they were talking things over. 1:16 to go in the game of the week. 2 undefeateds here in this one. This is a heavyweight bout. The Canes and the Spartans going at it here for 60 minutes here tonight. 62 seconds to go in this third quarter. It's 7-3, Sparty with the lead. On the move right now are the Arizona Spartans. This will be a 4th down and 4. Snap is back, looking left, firing left. The ball's caught by Dickerson to the 20, 15. Leaps over a defender, and he's finally brought down around the 10-yard line. There is that man, Deandre Dickerson Jr. Ran a beautiful post route, a slant in this case, got the football, angled towards the 10, and picked up the first down. That's a chain-moving catch for Deandre Dickerson Jr. Nice throw by Morty.
Combo route once again, 2 receivers close on the short side here, and you saw the inside seam, and literally Deandre Dickerson just trailing right behind him, cuts it close, a little quick hitch right in the sticks, and Morton finds him.
Gain of 22. Robertson gets the carry, breaks a tackle at the 5, lunges forward towards the 3, maybe the 2, but now the Spartans starting to feel it, getting good push off the offensive line, and anytime that you involve Deandre Dickerson Jr., you have a chance for success. And this trio of wideouts, arguably the best in the league when you talk about Sewing Jr., Flanagan, and Dickerson Jr. Triple zeros. Our first 3 quarters are in the books. Moving to the 4th and final stanza, it's 7-3 in this AZCFL game of the week, Cody.
I can't wait for the 4th quarter here. We were promised a defensive matchup, Kevin. That's exactly what we get. Big goose egg zeros on the board for both teams there in the 3rd. Really highlights this awesome defense when you have so much talent on the offensive side of the ball like both teams do. 4th quarter here, Kevin. I'm stoked for it.
Cactus Media X, the AZCFL's official network, podcast, media, marketing, live stream, and everything media related. CMX produces all of the Cactus Football League programs and weekly Game of the Weeks streamed on all their outlets. Find them on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. Sozo Therapy, the best physical therapy and recovery teams in the Valley, and AZCFL's official post-game recovery partner. Let me tell you why. Sozo is personal. They're hands-on, and they service every age group for any stage of life. And that's critical for a couple of guys like ourselves, Cody. The word sozo is an action word that means to save, to heal, and to preserve from harm. Their goal as a team is to show care and compassion to everyone they serve. They focus on hands-on care, which means they use their hands with massage, manipulation, mobilizations. They have over 40 years of collective experience and knowledge that gives them a unique advantage in providing professional service. They specialize in treating all types of injuries, for strains and sprains to lower back, shoulder, neck, and leg pain. We've got you covered. It's so therapy.
That was a good job.
Here we go.
Great job getting the ads in.
Here we go, Cody. We got work to do. 1st and goal. Make it 2nd and goal. From the 4-yard line, working left to right, are the Arizona Spartans. They give it to Robertson, to the edge, to the 5, to the goal line. Touchdown. Ross Robertson is in the end zone. For Robertson, his 2nd rushing touchdown of the season on that pitch to the right, in space, got to the edge, and then just coasted into the end zone. That was a nifty play, all set up by the running on the interior, and great play up front.
Shotgun triple option, Kevin. Gotta love it, especially down in the goal line. A low snap. Great job by Morton to not only get back his composure, but carry out the read, which is the first step there in the shotgun triple. Great pitch out. Good pitch relationship by Robertson, which is, people don't understand. You got to practice that. That pitch relationship is extremely important. Right in the chest, and Robertson hits the corner, and a huge touchdown for the Spartans, who can take an 11-point lead with this extra point.
That was big. 13 3-point after try upcoming here for Chris Noble. Snap is down. The kick is on the way. The kick is up, and the kick is no good. He missed it wide left. Penalty markers on the field. Guys are losing their hats, and now you got some guys that are losing their cool here just a little bit. Anytime you lose your helmet on a play, you tend to come up a little bit uneasy. And the player that is feeling a little bit uneasy right now is Kawami Kawari. Another outstanding name. Kawami Kawari, a little upset down there. He lost his hat, so we'll have to come off here. Indications from our official, preliminary indications from Anthony Perez. A penalty assessed to the Spartans, which means they are not going to re-kick. The kick was no good. And how big was that if you're the Canes?
Makes it still a 2-score game.
2 scores.
Touchdown field goal. Touchdown field goal, that has the position there. And once again, special teams always playing a factor every single week that we broadcast, Kevin. We had the muffed punt that the Canes had pretty much in the beginning of the second quarter that rolled the punter downed it at the 15. Plays like that just come to bite you in the back. And honestly, that play was such a decision maker there, because both defenses were so stout early in that football game.
Absolutely.
And the Spartans have really won the field of possession in this game. So once again, Canes, they were able to answer in the first half on a touchdown drive. You're thinking, once again, 4th quarter, 14 minutes left, the way this clock runs in this league, you're thinking you have to score. Once again, I know I'm speaking the inevitable here. Every time you have the ball, you're trying to score. This got to be an answer back here for the Canes.
There really does. And, you look at this in terms of a heavyweight bout. The Canes continue to take a lot of punishment, right? They're taking body shots, a couple of head shots. They continue to work them. They counter them back and forth with some punches. This time they hit them and took them to the canvas here. So they got to get back up off the deck here, down by 10 with 14:54 to go. They might have to change how they want to run their offense here for the next 14:54 under Arturo Macias. Perhaps they start taking some chances down the field and going vertical here, Cody. Low kick, and on the return here for the Canes, this is Simpson. And Simpson's going to weave through traffic. Simpson's looking for a block. He's got one. He's in space at the 40, 45, midfield 50, 45, 40, and he tries to slam on the brakes, loses fitting, and he got a little shove there from place kicker Chris Noble. And that was a fantastic return. You looked for an answer. They had the answer there, but let's see if it's going to hold up, because now things are starting to get interesting as you look at the penalties. They're going to call it a personal foul on the Canes. That will be a 15-yarder going back the other way, which means this return of about 48 yards is going to go back.
That's a backbreaker, too, because it looks like that happened at the 30. And Simpson with a great return in the position of the Spartans in the Spartans territory as well. And once again, just penalties, man, shooting the Canes in the foot.
The Spartans will get the Rebels after the Easter holiday. They'll play that game on the 23rd day of April. That's their next contest. Meanwhile, the Canes down by 10. Time becoming a factor here in this 4th quarter. They'll work and begin this drive from the 25-yard line. Macias back to throw. 7-step drop. He's got all kinds of time. Flushes to the near side. He throws it back towards the middle of the field, and ball is caught by the tight end. And that big fellow, that is Tanner Swanger. And Swanger with his first reception of the football game. It's nice to see him get involved just a little bit. But for Swanger, he has the ability to make a few plays. That is only his 5th catch of the season, but he does have a touchdown.
See, to me, that's a mistake. Swanger, I really like Swanger. I think he's a really good blocking tight end. He's massive out there. You have to utilize a player like that. In the receiving game, like we have seen a couple weeks ago, they're getting him involved, and he's picking up a first down.
Gain of 12, chain-moving catch for Swanger. Macias lines up. Deep ball, far sideline, the ball is incomplete. The intended target for the Canes was Simpson. In the secondary, providing the coverage for the Spartans was Andre Goodman. Goodman's one of those former high school players here in the Valley. You just know the name Andre Goodman, another outstanding football name.
Yep, and that Spartan defense is starting to make the Canes one-dimensional here. I think
for sure
they have the Canes on their heels, man, in which they still have time, 13 minutes left in the fourth quarter, but they're just kind of out of a sync right now, it looks like, Kevin.
4 down lineman Jake Lee showing blitz on the edge. Here comes the action man. That is Parker Jr. He has a 54-yard catch in this one. Macias again rolls to the near side. Looks like he's directing some traffic. He throws on the run, and the ball is going to be caught around the 50-yard line. Making the reception, his second of the game, was Joseph Parker Jr. He's been targeted 3 times. That's just his second catch. He makes the catch right at the 49-yard line. He had to come back for the football. That's just great teamwork and great communication with the quarterback Macias and Parker Jr.
And that's a tough throw from Macias. I mean, he's a right-handed quarterback, rolling left, has to make the throw on the run, going to his left. Great job by the receiver, like you noted, coming back, getting the footwork in, and a first down for the Canes, who are pretty much at midfield now.
Gain of 12. Macias puts the ball in the hands of his tailback. Nice run there. Lower the shoulder, blow up a defender, and then finally get wrapped up around the 45-yard line. Impressive run, maybe the best run of the night for the Canes. A downhill run, boy, by Kenneth Mitchell, and he showed you a little of that UT toughness right there.
And that's what they want to do. I just mentioned 2 plays before that. It looks like, they're on their heels, they're out of sync. That's what they want to do. Get in 2nd and 3 situations, getting Kenny Mitchell the ball. That is a 6.4 yards per carry runner right there.
On the blitz, shooting the gap and making a tackle in the backfield is the big fella for the Spartans, doing it again. Devorian Jones blowing up the offensive line. I was just getting ready to say, on that previous play, the left tackle, Darryl Dobbins, with an outstanding block to get his runner in space. And you saw Mitchell take advantage of that. But then on the very next play, on a run-stuffing blitz, they go to the playmaker, Devorian Jones, just absolutely annihilating the offensive line.
Absolute monster. You have the big boys up front, stoning the offensive line for the Canes. And then Devorian just comes like a heat-seeking missile, reading the snap perfectly. And another tackle for loss for the linebacking core for the Spartans.
Guido lines up near side. Shadowing him across with the coverage was Dedrick Miranda. And they get the ball in the hands of the tailback. And there's Mitchell again, running low to the ground, picking him up and putting him down. Penalty marker flies in from the secondary. But how about the toughness of Kenny Mitchell? Absolutely running low to the ground, and he's just driving that pile the other direction, Cody. Running with toughness.
3 or 4, about quality 5-6 yards after contact, but bouncing off 3 or 4 Spartans defenders, able to hit the corner. Once again, the Spartans are reading the snap. I mean, they are doing a great job of counting the snap count, exploding off the snap, and they are in the backfield before he even has the rock. I think that just shows tremendous toughness by Mitchell and also vision, getting to the outside, eluding defenders, and picking up that first. But this could be a huge penalty if it goes against the Canes.
And if you join us late, I'd ask Cody in the first half, has you ever seen anybody pick off a snap back? But Devorian Jones is getting closer and closer as he gambles with that snap count. Now, it looks like the penalty went against the Spartans. So huge break for the Canes, down by 10, 11:09 to go in this fourth quarter. They're working right to left, and now they have a little offensive momentum here. 2-back set behind Macias. There goes Dotsry in motion. It's a play fake. It's Dotsry in the backfield at the 45. to the 40. Penalty marker comes in to the 35, and he's shoved out of bounds there by Devontae Allen. I think we're going to get a face mask around the 45-yard line, which is going to tack on about 15 yards for the Canes, and they are on the march here, Cody.
And that's another play I'm really glad they're starting to give the rock here in the second half because Daughtry's an explosive player out of the backfield. You just saw there, quick RPO swing pass to him and makes the first guy miss and sprints down the left sideline, picking up some major yardage for the Canes. And this is exactly the type of drive they need. I said you got to answer here, get points on the board, gain some confidence into your offensive guys, and they are strutting down the field right now, Kevin.
And they're getting some great push up front by all those big guys. How about it for Darryl Dobbins, Christopher Betancourt, Rakeem Hicks, and, of course, the center, Chris Gabaldon. Those guys are getting some great push off, and they're pushing back the Spartan defense. This undefeated, unblemished Spartan defense on the march. Ball is spotted on the 17-yard line of the Spartans. 4 down linemen. Play fake for Macias. Throws over the middle of the field, and the ball is going to be broken up at the goal line. Macias wanted to get the ball in the hands of Ross. But over there for the Spartans, playing center field, was Joey Buckley. Correction. Playing center field there was Tyree Taylor. How about the other 18, Cody?
I like that offensive play call, though, Kevin. It's the same look. They just opposite field there. RPO, they faked the swing. They had backside slants, kind of a deeper post of the upside receiver. Safety jumps the inside slant. That middle's open, just kind of late on the pass.
Yeah, exactly. Great point. I was just getting ready to say, easy for us to say, but that was a tardy throw. Here's Mitchell again, trying to bounce it outside. He gets leveled on the play. Outside tackle and a beauty by Andre Goodman. And for Andre, he just put the good in Goodman with that defensive play.
That is a fantastic tackle by a defensive back. Coming up, filling the alley, wrapping with the legs, making sure he is not bouncing off of you to gain yardage. That is a huge tackle because now it's 3rd and 8. If he misses, that's probably a touchdown. I cannot reiterate that enough. Big-time tackle by Goodman.
Fantastic play. 3rd down and 7. Ball spotted on the Spartans' 14-yard line. In the red zone, it's the Canes. They run it to Mitchell, and Mitchell is going to get bogged down. Late flag comes in. Mitchell ran right into Diamond Thompson, the defensive end. And let's see what this penalty mark is all about because, Cody, the more infractions that we see, we talk about the miscues. Certainly we can say at the beginning of any broadcast, well, the turnover battle is going to win or lose this football game. In many cases, that is a great way to respond. But it's the self-infliction. It's the miscues. That's what's shifting one team or the other from winning or losing.
Yeah, and the Canes had that happen on their field goal possession as well. Remember, they started, inside the 15, then they shot themselves in the foot and had that 1st and 20 on the hold. Interesting play call there on third and 7. That let me know that they were going to go for it on 4th down. Now they're 3rd and forever here after the holding penalty.
3rd down and 15. Macias, 7-step drop, throws outside. Ball is dropped by Phil Ross. Penalty markers come in. They were both dropped right by where the quarterback threw the football. 2 of them. Let's see what these are all about. Personal foul, roughing the passer against the Arizona Spartans. Wow, tough break. And now we get another penalty from a dead ball foul from the sideline. And you can see one of the players for the Canes picking up the flag. And the young man for the Canes helping everybody out is Brian Hoskins.
So we're going to have 2 different penalties here. One already called the personal foul. That should be a 1st down. Then we have a dead ball spot foul, it looks like. And I don't know if this is from the Canes bench. I do need to apologize, though, Kevin, because this is my fault. This is definitely my fault. I said that there was, very limited penalties. We've got about 18 here on this drive alone, man, and the refs are starting to be a little flag happy here.
My broadcast partner may have spoken a little bit early, and that's all right. It's part of the process.
Little broadcast jerk, man, on a little Saturday night.
Hey, one more time, give us a shout out. Where are you watching tonight's game from? Globally speaking, hit us up on Twitter at KDB Voice. Cody, what is your Twitter handle, my friend?
Very simple, at Cody T. Cameron.
Cody T.
Kevin, we have an ejection. And that's the tough thing about being in the booth. A player just got booted. We don't know the number. We'll try to get someone to go down there, but that's huge, man. 9 minutes left in the game, 13-3, 2 undefeated teams, and a guy gets kicked out.
Cody, I was talking to you about some baseball games that I was at over the last couple of days. We had 3 ejections in last night's game. The manager got tossed, a player got tossed, and then a fan got tossed. So the ejection thing is it's just in the air right now as we transition from spring into summer, and it's happening way too swift for my liking.
Canes get a first down after all of that,
Unbelievable.
though. It's a big first down since they were 3rd and forever there.
1st and 10 from the Spartans, 27-yard line. New life for the Canes. Snap back from Mesa from the pocket, outside in the flat to Dotstry. Dotstry is going to be chased and brought down from behind by Diamond Thompson, but he'll pick up about 7 yards. Caught that pass in stride, turned upfield, but it was Diamond Thompson on the chase to lunge and bring him down from behind. Great tackle in the open field.
It shows you the lateral speed. I mean, he was literally shoulder up, and Dotstry is explosive. That is a very fast football player. And Diamond Thompson was able to stop, go directly 90, and chase him down for the minimal gain.
8:27 to go, 4th quarter. The ball's loose, and it's a fumble, and the Spartans are going to recover the rock. And who else would cover the rock? The man that we just mentioned, Diamond Thompson, chasing ball carriers down on one play, recovering fumbles on the next. A huge takeaway for Sparty. They get the football, and they absolutely stonewall the Canes on their scoring opportunity.
Mistake-free. Both offenses are. There's a reason why both these teams are 6-0. Said whoever's going to win the turnover battle was probably going to win this football game here, Kevin. I know it sounds vanilla, but in big games like this, it always happens. And the Spartans defense coming away with the big takeover in their own territory, halting the Canes scoring drive there. Huge play by the defense.
Canes' next contest will be after Easter, April 23rd. They'll kick off at 7 p.m. That'll be the Hawks and the Canes. We will more than likely have that game for you right here on the CMX network. And how about tonight? We didn't even mention this, Cody, but this game was flexed. This battle of the undefeated flex into the marquee spot here on Saturday night, only on the CMX network. Inside 8 to play. Spartans get the football back. Now they're just going to take their sweet time and try to kill this clock. They've got enough points to win, but let's see if Coach Wilkins will settle for that. Deep ball, far sideline. The ball is in and out of the hands of Dickerson Jr. Great coverage on the other side. Who else would provide that type of coverage but Trumaine Smith, the DB, draped all over Dickerson. And even then, Dickerson Jr. had a chance to catch that ball on the back shoulder throw.
I was literally going to say, you think they're just going to drain the clock, and they go for the home run shot, a little back shoulder fade there on first down. Trumaine Smith once again, hip pocket of Dickerson. Looks like he slipped on the top of that route as he was playing through the hands. Dickerson had a chance. That was a great throw there by Morton.
Going for the dagger on that chance. Aaron Wilkins, the offensive coordinator, taking a shot. 7:09 to go. 10-point ball game, working left to right. The Arizona Spartans undefeated at 6-0, trying to make it 7 with a win here. Ball is thrown out on the near side, right outside the numbers. Who else would make a spectacular catch like that but Billy Sewing Jr.?
And I like it, man. He's looking at his hands, going to his teammates like, I can't drop this, man. I cannot drop this pass. Sticky gloves with the outside. Great outstretched catch on the out route. But here's a big play for the Canes defense. 3rd and 6. If you can get your offense the ball back here, which you pretty much need to do, got to make a play right now.
As a 4-yard pass play, Mortensen to Billy Sewing Jr. Ball spotted on the 30-yard line of the Spartans, working from their own 30. 5 wide, empty set for Mortensen. Quick pass to Burley, makes the catch, fighting for the first down. I think he's going to have it. Second effort there by Burley. He finally got tackled to the turf. Nice, strong tackle there. A trio of tacklers led there by T.J. Downs.
Yeah, and Canes defensive back, he was playing the sticks initially, got a little 1-2 yards behind it, hit the quick hitch, gets the first down, and that is a huge pickup for the Spartans offense.
Jake Mortensen to LaRue Burley, gain of 10. Chain-moving catch, they work from the 40. Handoff, inside handoff to the second level. Ball's loose.
That ball's out.
Running the football for the Spartans, his first carry of the game, maybe second carry, was Solomon Burley. He got drilled at the 48-yard line, and the Canes force a turnover. So they still have life. 1 turnover apiece. Injury on the play. Let's see who's banged up. It looks like one of the Canes players in the backfield is needing some medical attention. And now you can see several players look around their fallen teammate, and they're asking for medical help on the immediate. So we'll keep an eye on that. But on the play, nice run by Burley. But how about the defensive play? Cody, who did you see provide the pop on that ball separation right there before the Canes recovered the fumble?
All I know is Canes defensive back who's everywhere. Every game I watch them. My guy Jake Reed recovered that ball. He might have also been in the tackle. Jake Reed, a phenomenal defensive back for this Canes defense, coming away with the big takeover and a play that they absolutely need. They give up the first down the play before, 1st and 10, huge chunk. It looked like a 15-yard gain, and he comes away with the takeaway for the Canes defense.
Whenever you see teammates and players react to an injury, and you see the sense of haste provided by the Canes for the medical attention needed, the player that's down with his helmet to the turf, face down, is Dominic Brooks. And Dominic Brooks is one of the best players in this league, and now I believe they're going to help him up to his feet. If we see Dominic Brooks to his feet, this is remarkable. And let's be honest, Brooks is a little bit wobbly. His motor is saying, hey, I'm fine. I'll be okay. Let me walk off under my own power. But the idea of him being okay is unrealistic. His left extremity, maybe it's his left knee perhaps, is giving him fits. And I'm just thankful for the good Lord up above that he's able to walk off the field here. It looked for a moment, he was motionless, face down on the turf. That looked scary, Cody.
Yeah, that's never good. It's our first season broadcast in this league, but already within the last couple of weeks, we've gotten to know some of these players, man. That's one of my favorite overall players, probably one of the best linebackers in the league. That dude is a freaking stud, man. I love watching Dominic Brooks play football, and that is a huge loss for the Canes defense, and I hope he's better, man, because that would be a blow for the rest of the year.
And Cody, you know, we talk about high octane, high motor. He has that. And he's still idling as we take him off the field. Macias backpedals, throws up a jump ball, and the ball's going to be picked off. The Spartans take it away again. Andre Goodman right there to make the interception, and he has been outstanding in that secondary here for the Spartans.
And that's where I just think the Canes have looked off there, Kevin, because they're just forcing stuff tonight. They've tried to force a lot of passes instead of taking what the Spartans have given them underneath. That's just a throw on the back heel. There's no step into it. It 50-50 ball that really is 80-20 to the defensive back who's looking at the quarterback the entire way. You can't make a throw like that in the vicinity of a defensive back like Andre Goodman. He is going to make you pay. He high points the pass and a pick for the Spartans defense.
Outstanding defensive play by Andre Goodman. He has been a stalwart here tonight. He's been spectacular. And you heard the expression, the old cliche, that was so easy. It was like taking candy from a baby. Cody, I'll be honest with you, I've never used that expression, but I don't know who would give a youngster, a youth, or a baby any kind of candy.
And I say you still got to make the catch, right? Everybody who says, oh, that's an easy play, well, you go put the pads on and make that play. You know, that's a good situation. But once again, you can't make that throw either on the back. I know you're trying to make a big play, but that's on the heels, and Andre Goodman is going to make you pay. And you're getting the sense here, I mean, clock is not in your favor, especially in a league where I don't entirely know the clock rules all that well. I know it runs consistently throughout the game. You might be able to.
15 minutes on the clock.
Go. Okay.
The clock runs except for dead balls.
Okay.
And then on the inside 2 minutes, I think they will stop the clock.
Gotcha. So incompletes, clock is still running.
Still rolling.
Look at that, man. We're learning on the fly here.
That's the 10th interception of the year for the Spartans defense. And for Goodman, his first pick of the season. And you should know that Daedric Miranda has 3. His teammate, Darius Glover, a one-time Skyline Coyote, he has 3. And for Glover, we haven't called his name yet tonight, but from what I understand, he's going to go play in the Sooner Athletic Conference. He's going to play for the Ottawa Spirit next season. That's a great get for the Ottawa Spirit.
Heck yeah, that's an awesome complex they've built up there in Surprise.
Gorgeous facility.
They've had some pretty dang good football teams already in that short history of that program.
They have, but arguably, some people think Arizona Christian University might be someone to look out for as well.
There you go.
It's Robertson to the edge, and Robertson finally gets tackled around the 25-yard line. Nifty play by the Canes secondary. there was about 4 guys there. One of the guys there was Deontay Flowers. 5:06 to go, 13-3 for the Spartans. That was their 17th takeaway this year. They know how to take the football away from the opposition.
100%. And right now, they're winning the turnover battle 2-1. If you're the Canes, too, you got 3 timeouts here in the second half. You got to start looking to use those.
Robertson is flanked to the right of Jake Mortensen. Long count, snap back. They want to throw the football. Mortensen, deep ball, middle of the field. The ball is going to be caught by Billy Sewing Jr. Another back shoulder throw. Great reaction to the football. And you talk about adjusting to the rock. How about Billy Sewing Jr. as he puts the pose on at the 40-yard line, the flex pose?
Hitch seam combo route here on the short side. They've done it multiple times. They really like this combo route with the 2 receiver sets. And Billy Sewing Jr., literally the series before, went to the sideline and said, I'm not dropping a pass today. I am not dropping a pass today, and he is a man of his word. Sticky hands. What a great catch by Billy Sewing Jr.
23-yard reception, 1st and 10 in Canes territory from the 49-yard line. They run it left. They run it right into a brick wall right there. Nice play there. Angling to his left was DeWitt Caswell, I beg your pardon. And he ran into that line of scrimmage that has played well throughout most of the evening. It's a good group, and they excel at stuffing the run to the Arizona Canes.
The Canes defense has kept them in this game. The Canes defense has made it a winnable game for them. A winnable game. The offense
Great
is just,
point, Cody.
The offense is just not executed. This shows you the depth of this defense. You lose a player like Dominic Brooks the series before. Mikel Mayer, the plug, the middle linebacker for that Canes defense, absolutely stuffing the Spartans' run game there.
Dominic Brooks remains out for the Canes. Huge loss out of that linebacking core. 3:07 to go. Fumble snap. Morton is going to scramble. He throws on the run, and the ball is incomplete. He wanted Dickerson Jr. up the sideline. You know, Mortensen's another one of those players. He likes to create a little bit. He loves to throw the football on the run, and who doesn't, right? Patrick Mahomes has made a career of that. But for Mortensen, he's one of those guys that he, too, like Scotty Hutchinson and anybody else in this league, they think that they can make a play on every snap, and sometimes you got to live to play to the next down.
And especially in a league where the clock does not stop on incomplete passes when you're over 2 minutes. New rule I just learned, that's not a bad play. And in any other football, I would say that's a terrible play to run the football. You know,
absolutely, you got to run it.
It looks like up front. Offsides here.
Special thank you to Max Volkoon, our executive producer tonight.
And Dominic Brooks is back in.
How about Dom?
I picked 4-4 right there. That's a play that is great to see because he did not get up for about 3 to 5 minutes, and this league's better when he's in. That's all I'm going to say. He is that good of a football player.
Ibuprofen couldn't have taken effect that quickly. This young man is a warrior out there.
Adrenaline. Ice bath time, though, I'm sure, after this game. Speaking
of ice bath, Tiger Woods talks about how difficult it is for him to prepare to play golf. He's at the Masters. Today was moving day. Didn't go so well for Eldrick. But I tell you what an amazing story for him to be nearly losing his limb, to be back out there at the Masters at Augusta. What a weekend. What a sports weekend. Opening day in Major League Baseball this past week. We've got football here in the AZCFL. This is the game of the week, flexed to prime time here on Saturday night. He's Cody Cameron. I'm Kevin Derryberry. It's been a pleasure to be with you here. It's been a well-played game, but the defense for the Canes playing well enough to win the game for the team, just not enough offense. They really do miss KP Pro Team.
And I was literally going to ask you, great segue there, Kevin. There's a question that was brought on to the show on Thursday. They said, whoever wins this game, do you think this will be the same team to win the championship when it's all said and done? Long season left. Obviously, we have the playoffs coming up here in about a month and a half. But, you know, they split, said yes, no. I think KP is a difference maker. You know, you add that dual threat ability at quarterback, the chemistry with the receivers, just what he's able to do and just expand the offensive playbook. And Macias has done a great job in his behalf, but I think KP just brings extra elements. So I don't agree whoever wins this game is going to win the championship. It is a whole different ball game if KP's in.
What are everybody saying now? 100%.
People are saying, yeah.
They say 100%. Totally agree. Great point. High snap for Mortensen. backpedals, pressured, rolls back to the near side. He's back at the 30, finally unloads, and the ball is caught at the 45-yard line for the Spartans. Making a move towards the center of the football field was Jonathan Finch. No, yeah, we're going Jonathan Finch. We got the 3D, and the 3D is DeRolin Reeves, and that was not DeRolin. Penalty marker on the far side of the football field. And Cody was talking about the praises of both teams keeping their hands out of the cookie jar, and here in this second half, it's been a free-for-all on those Chips Ahoy.
Yeah, and now, I mean, how about the play by Morton, too? He must have rolled 25 yards back behind the line of scrimmage.
He's done that about 2 times,
Yeah.
maybe 3 times here tonight, but it shows his athleticism.
Yeah, he's eluding defenders. We might get a penalty on the Canes coaching staff here on this sideline. It has been flag happy fourth quarter. I just mentioned a bunch of players for the Canes that aren't playing. I don't think Antonio Smothers is playing either because he's been commenting on the broadcast, and he's one of the best defensive linemen in this entire league. Antonio Smothers is a monster out
Number
there.
10.
So
we mentioned him in that first half that we hadn't called his name just yet, and I think I mentioned if this kid's out here playing, we will call his name at some point.
yeah, I believe he's also a Pac-12 University Arizona alum. Him and Upshaw together. Oh man, those are 2 dudes, man. That's some really good. I'm not going to cuss on broadcast. They are freaking studs. They're some really good football players.
Speaking of cussing on the broadcast, that's why I don't mention U of A. That's just so we can just
Hey, they had their spring game today, and their recruiting class that they brought them is loaded. Coach Fish, he can recruit.
He's
man.
done a great job.
Yeah.
The acronym on the back of the jerseys here for the Spartans, FTMNTM, for the man next to me. That's what you're seeing here. This has been a championship-esque type performance. Will it be a preview of the AZCFL final? Cody brings up some great points. It might be too early to make that prediction, and especially with Cordell Provci not suited up tonight. He's a difference maker. We've made that clear, but you can definitely see, even for the Spartans offense, they have some room to improve as well. But you have to credit the Canes defense. They've been stingy, Cody.
I think it is with the Spartans is just get your – I mean, easy for me to say this up in the booth, but just from what I've seen, get your playmakers ball in space early on. I mean, they've taken advantage of that here in the second half. I love their formations. Their pre-snap formations with the trips bunch, the empty sets, the quad formations that Billy Sewing Jr. just gets wide open in the middle.
Mike, you see
That's
here
all
the
day.
trips to the near side, right?
Yeah, trips bunch right here with the pistol look.
On the bunch. Back deep is the running back.
Oh, what a tackle.
And he got drilled.
Oh, man.
At the point of impact, the ball carrier here, Jonathan Finch, gets belted. And now we're going to have penalties flying again. More guys lined up. Billy Sewing Jr., Jake Morton right there. Scotty Hutchinson trying to move some guys around. And this is the Canes and the Spartans doing battle here. One of the guys that's playing a little feisty right now is Perry Morrow.
You know what's tough about that is I couldn't, because it was a scrum, I could not see who made the tackle. I think it was Mikel Mayer.
Late flag comes
Another
in
late
again
flag.
off the sideline there. This is one thing that we have seen. It's difficult to witness. It's difficult to broadcast. But sometimes we've seen these players on more than one occasion lose their cool. And if it's anything that we ever teach in sport, it's about sportsmanship, keeping your composure. And the guy that's leading the Barbs down there is Dominic Brooks. So Brooks is laying down the gauntlet with his teammates. You've got to keep your head on.
You know what? You know what's funny about that though is I think both of these teams being 6-0, obviously that has a lot to ride on with that. But I kind of like it. I kind of like the chippiness, because it just adds some fire into the league. And if these two teams do meet in the playoffs, we're going to get that extra fire. Especially, I think the Canes are going to come with the chip on the shoulder with that. The Spartans have definitely punched them in the mouth today. I mean, the Spartans have, especially defensively, have dominated this football game. And I just think the Canes are probably going to, take that and play with the chip in the playoffs. There's a lot of comments right now that are saying we're wrong about either of these two teams making a championship game. They're saying the Rebels. They are saying
No
the
question.
Rebels.
They're defending champions.
Yeah.
Got to give them their respect. But, Cody, we're going to take a line out of Goodfellas.
Hit me.
What do you mean funny?
Good. That's a good movie drop right there, man. God.
It's how you tell a story, right? I mean,
Yes.
it's funny. You're funny, Cody.
With the no one can see it, but the hand gestures on that make it too.
Oh my God.
They can't
One of
ever
the
tell us.
classics.
They can't ever tell us we're not filling the dead air because the refs have been what is it, 9 o'clock now, and it's been about 30 minutes of them discussing penalties and ejections now.
Yeah, things got a little bit funky here, but somehow or another, the Spartans are all together. They're singing the praises. 1:17 to go. The penalties will be assessed against the Canes. Now, Deandre Dickerson leading the chorus of cheers. It's Morton to jog back on the field. I tell you what, for a guy that was out of a job, Jake Mortensen has made enough plays where when you start to think about, okay, if you can't play on Saturdays anymore, is there a league anywhere out there for this kid Mortensen? He's got athletic frame, 6'3", 225-pounder. He's got a rocket for an arm. He's athletic as all get out. You wonder if he's got a chance somewhere, if somebody could take a peek at this young man.
Wherever he wants to go, he needs to bring his receiving core with him because those Spartans receivers are legit.
They make him a good quarterback. High snap, they run it again. A little stutter step, breaking through the line of scrimmage to the second level and falling into the end zone for a touchdown. That is our man, John Finch. And that's a dagger score right there for the Spartans.
With the little gritty, too. Into the into the end zone. Big touchdown there for the Spartans. And that's a feel-good touchdown right there from Mr. Finch.
A little stutter step in the middle of the field, stepping above tackles, breaking through, and finally scoring a touchdown. That was Finch, an outstanding run. And for the run game for the Spartans, they had 4 players punch it into the end zone. Ross Robertson leads the team in scoring with 2 rushing touchdowns, but Jonathan Finch, that's his first of the season. Burley has 1. Mortensen has a rush touchdown. Scotty Hutchinson has a rush touchdown, and that was the first of the year for Jonathan Finch. Nice run and great protection up front once again. That left side getting it done. It is Betancourt and Dobbins doing a great job. Kick is up, and the kick is through. 59 seconds to go in the AZCFL Game of the Week. Our new score, Spartans 20, the Canes 3, and this one is all but in the deep freeze.
Yeah, and one team made the other one-dimensional. You know, that was with the Spartans defense. That was their game plan coming in here. Make Mesa beat us, and they were able to take the run game for pretty much this entire game. And on the flip side, the Spartans' offensive drives where they were able to execute, they got the run game going. The big boys up front, those players that you just spotlighted there, Kevin, they were grinders today and moving people. Canes defense did everything they could in this football game. The Canes defense, they were tremendous in this game. There were just too many times where, heck, the botched punt, start at the 15-yard line, field position, starting at the Canes inside the 40. There's only too many of those, and the Spartans, they capitalize on the turnovers. They capitalize on the field position. Like I've said, man, they came out here and punched the Canes in the mouth. They deserve this win.
No question, good points. But I want to go back to the idea of the edginess with the players and the idea that these guys get a little loose. I definitely love that flair that this league presents every Saturday night. These guys don't like each other. They all play with attitudes. I appreciate that aspect. I just think they got to be smart. Take a penalty, drop someone, belt someone late, do all those things, get a little chippy, but just be aware about the timing of those infractions. We've seen them come at the most inopportune times. So these mistakes we've seen have been so costly, they've been fatal as it relates to the outcome of the game. On the return, here is DeLon Washington, his first touch of the evening, and he takes it from the 10 to the 40-yard line, a 30-yard return as he just veers across the field at an angle, running through that wedge of the Spartans. But a nice return for DeLon Washington, and that's his first touch of this game.
I was just going to say, that's the first time we've called his name all game. That's an explosive player. I just watched him 1-2 cut, get north, making players miss, and so where was that during the game? DeLon Washington, you can't tell me that he can't make a play on the offensive side of the ball. Absolutely can. But once again, you don't have KP. You're out of your rhythm. You're playing with your heels back to the game here in the second half, and that's all credit to the Spartans defense, man, because they did a great job utilizing that.
27 seconds to go. What does James Fisher and this Canes offense want to try to accomplish in the next 20? Snap back from the pocket, throws over the middle field. The ball is nearly intercepted. It looked like the big fella, Raphael Lee, might have gotten his mitts on it. Pressure came towards the quarterback, and Macias really had nowhere to go with the football. It was a pressure pass, and pressure typically causes miscues.
How about the defensive tackle dropping in a little spot zone there, getting his hands up, man?
That's
I'd
9-9.
love to see it.
9-9 on the drop back.
Oh, man.
10 seconds to go. Make it 11 here for good measure. Snap back from Macias. Outside throw. Ball's caught by the tight end. Making the catch there is A.J. Schaefer. I say tight end, but he's wearing 88, listed as a wideout. That's going to be the final play of the game. The final play of the game is going to result in a 7-yard pass play from Arturo Macias to A.J. Schaefer, and that is going to do it here as the handshakes start to commence at the 50-yard line. Great ball game here. Keep your cool here as you go through this line. You got to figure somewhere along the line, Cody Cameron, these two teams will see each other again in the postseason.
Yeah, I just feel like destiny will make its way here to the playoffs with these two teams. And Kevin, it's always hard to beat a good team twice. You know, the Canes defense, especially with their linebacking core, especially with their front, especially with the talent they have on the outside, that is still a very good football team. They're one of the top teams in this league. Most of the teams in this league have struggled against this defense. Let's not forget that. Defense will carry you in the playoffs. On the flip side, you're the Spartans, you're 7-0. They're the undoubted first seed, in my opinion, and they can run the table with that schedule. They play some tough teams late, but I think they run the table, obviously deserving of that first seed. They're going to make a deep run in the postseason as well. Morton showed, hey, I can utilize my talent. Let's get our players the ball in space. Let me get to the outside on a dual threat ability and let my defense do the work. That team is dangerous, Kevin, and they showed out tonight.
How about Tremaine Smith? What a night for him. Number 5 coming over to the near sideline for a couple of handshakes and some high fives. But an impressive game here for the Arizona Spartans. Cody indicated already they improved to 7-0. They're the lone unbeaten team in the league. The Canes dropped to 6-1, and we might have kind of teased it earlier, but the running Rebs might have something to do with all this when it's all said and done. They're the defending champions. They went undefeated last year. They know what it takes. And maybe a slow start for them, but they're starting to fire on all cylinders. That's another game to watch. The Spartans and the running Rebs. And I'll tell you what, Cody, for Mr. Matt Archer to flex this game into the primetime slot tonight, it was certainly our pleasure to be a part of it, our privilege as well. And it was a very well-played game. Defensive juggernaut here. But the Spartans stand tall. They were able to generate enough offense to win the game.
Yeah, they haven't. And I've said it numerous times, but they just executed. You know, they executed off the turnovers. They executed off the field position. And they proved that they're the number 1 team in this league tonight. A team I'm interested in is the Outlaws. And that's a team that we have broadcasted twice and multiple times.
Rico.
We looked in that game and we said, man, they have a chance to win this thing. You know, they're led by a quarterback, Rico McNeil. And they just have experience and talent on that football team. The Canes beat them in that Week 3 game that we broadcasted, but I felt like the Outlaws outplayed them in that football game. And then we broadcasted them 2 weeks later, and once again against the Spartans, numerous penalties on 2nd and 1, 3rd and short.
Wasn't the same team.
Turnovers and special teams. You know, if they didn't drop like 2 or 3 punts in that football game, once again, their defense puts them in situations to win. I really like that Outlaws team. And so I expect them, man, they can catch a team slipping during the playoffs, and they can have a big upset win, too. There's a lot of good teams in this league.
They've got a very talented wide receiver. Ben Williams, one of those players that plays with Rico McNeil. Brian Booby Conley. Yeah, they're loaded, and they could surprise some people because they haven't played their best football just yet. But on this cool evening here out in Mesa, it was a very warm day here in the desert. It's fantastic. Let's take it down to the field. Lucas, what do you have for us?
We have head coach of the Spartans, Coach Dietrich here. And, Coach, tonight your fellows won the turnover battle. How important was that to winning this game?
Man, it was a hard-fought battle, man. You know, we've been looking to this hard kind of game, you know. Defensively, you know, we're not the best in the league, you know, by far, but we got stuff to work on. But we held our own with these guys. It was a hard-fought game, and it was great. It was great. We needed this.
For sure. And when people think of the Arizona Spartans, they think of that highly potent offense 9 times out of 10. But tonight, a 20-3 win. What can you say about your defense tonight?
I mean, I got a great group of guys. We've been balling like, honestly, nobody's really scored on us. You know, we've been balling like this forever. I know what we got. We just got to put the league on notice.
Absolutely. And so with the big win tonight, how do you look to take to what you guys did today against the Canes and move that forward into the rest of the season in the playoffs?
We'll build off of this just like we have all the rest of the games. I mean, really, it's just another day in the office for us. You know, we're going to keep getting better. These teams got to see us. And we plan to show up like this every week.
Absolutely. Great win tonight. Thank you, Coach Dietrich, and good luck in the future.
Appreciate it.
Thanks, Lucas. Appreciate that conversation with Coach Dietrich Howard. He's the winner tonight, 20-3, and a little glimpse of what we could expect down the road here, Cody. An interesting performance here, and we mentioned it, but it bears worth repeating. No Cordell Proche, so KP is a difference maker. You get him back there behind that line and that run game with those weapons. Phil Ross just unable to make any plays tonight, so they were certainly handcuffed with what they had to work with. And we talked about this as well. If you don't have practice time with your offense and you can't get any kind of rhythm or any kind of cohesion, it's going to be difficult to win any games. But you see your guy, Kenneth Mitchell, walking towards the pile. I thought he ran with authority tonight, and he was a player that has earned more carries going forward.
Yeah, one-dimensional. You know, I said that pretty much the whole broadcast. They just weren't able to get him going. They weren't in situations to get him going as well. And as we head towards the later half of the schedule here, Kevin, you have depth issues for most of these teams. I mean, I'm looking on the sideline. I'm only counting 25 to 30 to 35 players, you know, and depth becomes an issue towards late. A team catches a player on a suspension like KP out for the Canes. Mm-hmm. That changes the whole aspect of a game, man. And that's why I just want to see, you know, come playoff time, everybody healthy. That's why it's great to see a player like Dominic Brooks back in there at the end of the half a game, because he's a difference maker, man. And so I want to see these teams get all healthy. Everybody has next week off. Let your bodies recover. Go hang out with families. It's Easter weekend. Go eat all that food. And then it's grind time, man, because from then on, 3 more weeks and then playoffs.
Dominic Brooks is the heartbeat of this Arizona Canes defense. He's that good. For Maxwell Volcoon, Matty Archer, for Lucas down on the field, all of our outstanding staff here, for Christian Klein, he's Cody Cameron. I'm Kevin Derryberry. This has been the AZCFL Game of the Week on the CMX Network. Until next time, so long for now.